procrastination, is it good or bad? It really depends. Putting things off, not doing what you are supposed to do, it depends on each individual. It depends on our priority. What are we wanted to achieve? So when you are delaying things that are very important and prioritization in your life, things that you are supposed to do and finish, it will be really sad because you cannot achieve what you want to achieve. So it's the discipline that makes us do what we need to do. Hi, Aurel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah. How have you been since the last talk that we had?
Oh, yeah. The last talk, we were talking about mindset. And it's really, when we talk about mindset, there is so many elements involved, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was thinking a lot about that and what it relates to, especially when we think about a person and how they want to develop. And I really, with the shift in weather and how cold it's getting, I started to think about procrastination. Like people are starting to feel a little bit unmotivated to get anything done right now. They're putting things off for the next day
Yeah.
and so on and so forth.
Because of the weather.
Because of the weather.
It's cozy under the bed, under the
Exactly.
blanket.
Exactly.
I don't want to get up. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that feeling usually comes when, when you feel overwhelmed. Sometimes you feel exhausted. Sometimes you feel anything can really affect you, right?
Right.
But then I thought about how can your mindset affect you to the point where you procrastinate?
So basically putting things off
Yeah,
rather than having the discipline to do what you're supposed to do, right?
yeah,
And this is basically we do that all the time. We tend to go for things that are more easy to do, maybe, or why do we procrastinate? I mean, why do we put things off? What's the reason behind it?
I mean, that's an interesting way to
Yeah.
put it, doing the easy things.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes even people will choose to procrastinate even the easiest things. They would choose to put off anything really that requires effort.
All right.
And there could be a multiple reasons, but one of them, like a lot of people think in terms of they feel like if they procrastinate, they're lazy. What do you think? Do you think people who procrastinate, are they just lazy?
No, lazy is something else, and procrastination is something. It's another. It's another. Let's say another attitude or another behavior.
Yeah.
People who are lazy, they tend to be chill and not to have like a goal or something to pursue. They just wanna take it day by day or minute by minute, and not to think of what they are supposed to do, I guess. No?
I guess
Yeah.
I mean, if we put it that way, so then people who are lazy, they're just not motivated, they're not willing to get things done, they don't want to pursue anything.
Right.
But here's the thing, even when you procrastinate, you have the same feeling. So I think that's why a lot of people, they get confused with the two. They always think, oh, because I procrastinate, I'm lazy.
Right.
And sometimes people will tell them that. People will say, why aren't you getting this done? You're so lazy.
Like you didn't do the homework today.
You didn't do the homework today,
Yeah.
you're lazy, or you're late, you're
Yeah.
lazy.
Yeah.
All of these things. But then you think about, is it really laziness or is there something happening behind the scenes? We say that procrastination is related to laziness, but the thing is, when I think about it, like I feel like people are wrongfully using the term laziness to describe every single person who delays their work, who
Right.
doesn't get things done on time. There's so many things that go into that.
Of course, I mean, their own priorities, their own preference of what to do first rather than doing things. So basically, like for example, if we have a daughter or a son at home who are supposed to do their homework before they go and play in the weekend, uh, we should talk to them and find out what would they like to do and what are their priorities, so they prioritize the homework as well as part of the fun, rather than saying to them, oh, you are delaying doing the homework and you're just thinking of having fun and enjoying the weekend, and then, you know, one day before or one night before the week, you start worrying about the homework and you know, so
That actually made me think of something,
yeah.
is that concept when we're about to do something big, whether it's homework for students,
Yes.
or a big project for someone who's in the working industry,
Right.
or if someone's about to deliver a speech and they need to prepare
Correct.
presentations and whatnot, and us when we prepare for our trainings,
Yes.
there's always that moment before we start preparing where we are struggling to get something done.
Right. To start, you mean? Is
To
it before the
start.
start? Yeah. But once we start, what happens?
We keep going.
We go into the flow.
Exactly.
Right.
I think then that means that the difficult part that people are facing is the starting
The
point.
starting point.
So now we need to go deeper into why does procrastination actually happen?
Mm-hmm. So, what is behind that delaying of doing what you're supposed to do? W- what it would be? Is it like um, fear? Does it have to do with fear? What do you think?
If there's a level of fear that could go into like the fear of failure or the fear of success even.
Right.
If you think about it, there are so many elements behind how a person would react towards a big project, let's say.
Right.
That feeling you get.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, I think, especially in previous generations, you are taught
Yeah.
they care more about the results than they care about the process.
Absolutely.
So I don't think a lot of people have learned to appreciate the process or find joy in the process of getting something done.
Yeah, we're always thinking of the end in mind, and we're always pursuing the result while we are not enjoying the journey to reach that result. And we should enjoy every moment of the process, whether we get to the result or we don't. I mean, you know, sometimes we cannot get to the result that we had envisioned in our project, or maybe we learned from the process. So it's not actually considered to be failing if you don't achieve the result.
Absolutely.
You must have learned something, right? So that's why maybe people procrastinate, not to take action or to take the first step,
Yeah, because
as we
then that
talked
means
about.
they're afraid of the results.
Yeah.
They're
yeah,
afraid it might not turn out
Yeah.
the way that they wanted.
Yeah. No. Nobody's gonna read my book.
Nobody's going to read my book, or maybe I'm not going to get a good grade,
Right.
or my training might not turn out the way I want it to. There's so many things that go behind that.
And it's all in the thoughts, right?
Yes,
So it comes back to the mindset.
mindset.
How we
Absolutely.
think and how we see things and how we show up for it makes a big difference.
But then here, how do we fix that? How do we get a person who usually procrastinates to actually sit there and think about why they procrastinate?
we tend to procrastinate, to put things, to go toward gratification. We tend to go to the easy way. This is our nature. Our nature makes us do the things that we like to do, the things that we prefer to do. But sometimes doing what we prefer to do or doing what we like to do doesn't get us to our dream or doesn't get us to achieve our desired goal. So we sometimes need to delay gratification to do what we are supposed to do, to become disciplined, to do the hard work, to do the work that we don't prefer to do it. But in order to achieve the goals that we need to achieve, we must, motivate ourselves from ourselves, seeing the end result in our mind, seeing the consequences that we will achieve when we reach our desired dream. So that makes us not to delay things or procrastinate. If you see yourself that you are always delaying things, you are putting things off, then you need to stop yourself and re-evaluate your priorities, re-evaluate the things that you want to achieve, your plans, your vision, and put things into perspective and see what is the things that you are supposed to do that gets you where you want to be. This is an important exercise that you need to do for yourself so you don't stop or you don't procrastinate and overwhelm yourself with things that are really in your hand. You can achieve them, but you are afraid to go through them because, again, you're thinking. Change your mindset, change the way you think, you change your life. Yeah. So it is an internal thingy. It's not something that you can, I think, you can influence people, but I think each one of us should look internally inside and see their resources, their capabilities, and the goal that they have to accomplish, and see if they are able to do it or not. And if they are not able to do it, what are the other resources or the other support that they can get from friends or relatives to help them, or maybe in the workplace, their teammates, to help them accomplish the projects that is needed to be done at a certain time. So they are not overwhelmed by looking at the big result or the big project, but rather chunk it and take it into phases, and each phase they progress and they enjoy the progress, or maybe celebrate few wins in the way, so the process becomes fun rather than only focusing on the result, or the big goal.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know.
It does. If
Yeah.
you think about, if you take something into small chunks, right? You
Yeah.
break them into pieces, it's a little bit more doable.
Yeah.
You're less scared, which then leads me to the fact that I think part of procrastination comes from just feeling overwhelmed by the work you have to do.
Yeah.
We often agree to do things sometimes,
Right.
and we'll overload ourselves beyond our capacity.
Oh, we say yes all the time. Sometimes we have to know where to say no, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you like the boss
Yeah.
and he likes you and he asks you for to do things, you say yes, 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 and then you end up with
So then
so
that
many
goes
tasks.
into when do you say no?
Mm,
How do you prioritize your time? Making better choices.
mm,
And then also having the capacity for self-awareness. So when we were talking about mindset, remember the biggest focus for that was self-awareness.
correct. Yeah.
And if a person has a degree of self-awareness, they are capable of assessing their capabilities
Absolutely.
and being fully honest with themselves. They know their limits. They know what they're good at, what they're not. Then I think the answer of are you procrastinating or are you just lazy becomes clear. When you think of procrastination, we automatically link it to the word lazy. And I want you to rest assured that this is not always the case. A lot of times, what you can actually do to help yourself in the process is think in terms of how to plan ahead. Now, I know this defeats the purpose because when we procrastinate, it's because we are avoiding the work, even if we're planning ahead. The problem that we face oftentimes with procrastination is that we are either too overwhelmed or number two, we're not feeling enough pressure to get the work done and there's no immediate consequence for not getting the job done. So what you can do is trick yourself into actually finishing the task. Try to minimize it into bite-sized pieces, get the tasks done, and give yourself an immediate reward to kind of make yourself actually go with the flow and proceed with the work that needs to be done. Now, whether you are a student or someone in the professional career, think in terms of how you can adapt this method to keep pushing forward. You may find that although you are planning ahead and although you are doing all the right things, you are still inclined to procrastinate and postpone your work to some other time. What I would urge you to do, first of all, is to show yourself some empathy. It is okay that you're not always on top of your tasks, and it is okay that sometimes you may delay things a little bit. But just remember one thing. If you are always in the habit of delaying, if you are constantly procrastinating, if you are constantly late for your tasks, your assignments, your deadlines, think in terms of the consequences long term. What is that going to look like for your goals in the future? If we were to fast forward 1 year from now and you maintain your habit of procrastination, what is that going to look like? And if it is not something you want to see, then I would urge you to find a way to hack your brain and find a way to get your tasks done so that you feel more confident.
Obviously.
Yeah, because if you are someone with accountability, you're able to take responsibility for yourself. You can tell yourself, yeah, I'm just being lazy
Yeah.
because I don't feel like working right now.
Right. Or I'm not in the mood for the time being. But I know that I will accomplish it and I will do it at the time that I choose to do it. So being lazy is a choice as well. It comes like
Could
that.
be.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
could be.
It's like, I just want to kick back, enjoy myself. But I know that I have time within today, that I have an hour that I will dedicate to accomplish what I want to accomplish.
Mm.
That's not procrastination, is it?
No,
Because
I
that's
don't think
priority
so.
and planning, isn't it?
Exactly, because you can choose to put something at the top of your list and push it to one side. You're scheduling it.
Right.
So now you're putting it in a way where I'm not making everything urgent. Not everything has to be done right now.
Right.
But what happens to a person's mind when they see a list, their to-do list?
Right.
They freeze
Yes.
because suddenly it's like, oh, I need to pick up my kid from school. I need to do this. I need to submit the project. I need to respond to this. I need to do this. It's a big thing, and that responsibility feels heavy.
And that's helps us to procrastinate.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's a mindset as well, right? Because when you do that big to-do list, then you say it's doable, and you say I can, and when you can, and when you can't, you cannot.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
We say big to-do list, right?
Yes.
I don't think that's the only step that should be taken when we make a to-do list. I think this is the first step.
What's the second step?
I would say when you make your to-do list, you look at it, you start to prioritize it.
Okay.
You schedule it accordingly.
So how you do ABC?
I mean, there are so many methods, right? We can teach people so many methods in terms of how do they prioritize. One of them is the Eisenhower matrix.
Okay.
Knowing when to put something in the urgent and important part.
Okay. Right.
When to schedule something. When do you delegate some tasks?
Right.
Not just at work, even at home.
Right.
Or let's say, if we're busy with work.
Well, I mean, shopping for the supermarket for grocery,
Exactly.
it got delegated to one of the nannies and the driver.
Or talabat.
They're good at it. Or talabat.
Or online applications, or anything that we can use to
Correct.
get
Yeah.
our stuff delivered to the house.
Yeah.
This is a delegation. So not everything has to be done
By us.
by us.
Use your resources.
So there you have it. When you think about procrastinating the next time, think about the reasons as to why you are delaying what you should be doing to another day, or even perhaps something near in the future. Think about in terms of, is it the deadline? Is it too far off? Is it you? Is it the fact that you feel overwhelmed? Are you in fact feeling a little lazier more than usual? Maybe it's the weather. Think about it.